Well, Iman, what I can tell you is that more people have arrived here, which is the assembly point. It's at King Dinuzulu Park. They are, of course, going to be marching to the SA Human Rights Commission office, which is not so far from where we are. But of course, as you mentioned, they are marching against undocumented immigrants accessing healthcare facilities, but also marching against the SA Human Rights Commission. And I'm just going to bring in Teresa from March and March to speak to us. Firstly, you are here today from March and March, but standing, one could say, in one voice with Operation Dudula.
Yes, good morning. That's correct. I'm standing here in one voice representing March and March because it seems like we have the same belief. And we feel that the South African Human Rights Commission is a unpatriotic NGO because they are fighting for the wrong side. They should be fighting for South Africans, not undocumented foreigners or foreigners per se. They should, if they want to fight for undocumented foreigners or foreigners, they should surely go to their country and go fight for them there. Here in South Africa, you need to fight for your South African citizens. We are rightfully here, and that is why we are trying to make a stand. We want government and all of these other NPOs or NGOs as per se, that is unpatriotic, to understand that we are tired and we are not going to stand for this anymore.
Maybe just to explain why say that the NGOs are being unpatriotic. I mean, of course, you have stated that they should be fighting for South Africa, but just to explain some of the concerns that you have when you're looking at those NGOs.
One of them, we'll look at the hospitals, for instance. Undocumented foreigners, they've got a right to come and use our public facilities, which is untrue because there's a misinterpretation of Section 27.1. Why don't they go further in and investigate what is the rest of those clauses? Hijack buildings, our children get poisoned with foods that get sold from the spaza shops. So it's all in one glove. They should be standing up for South African citizens, not for these undocumented foreigners, because it seems like the undocumented foreigners and the foreigners per se have got more rights in South Africa than we as South Africans have.
Just elaborate for me. You, not just March and March, but also Operation Dudula, whom we spoke to earlier on, stated that the SA Human Rights Commission is misinterpreting the Constitution. I just want to focus on that. Why do you believe that they are misinterpreting, that's quite a big word, misinterpreting the Constitution?
You see, there's a lot of clause that was in this constitutional rights of South Africa way back in 1998. Which is now nowhere to be found. It was left out of the Constitution. For what reason, we don't know. And that is why I'm saying that there is a misinterpretation and they need to come and rectify this. I mean, if you look at Section 27.1, they say that all foreigner nationals can be using our clinic facilities. But if you go further down, it says that only severe cases will be attended to. So that's one thing that I don't understand. Call me stupid per se, but I need the government to intervene, and they need to intervene ASAP because we are South African citizens. We will not back down.
The desired outcome, of course, you've been not just marching, but also asking for IDs from those that are attempting to access healthcare facilities in the country. Talk to me about the desired outcome. Of course, you have mentioned that you want more secure borders, but talk to me about the desired outcome.
We basically want Home Affairs to also intervene. And good question you're asking me now, because this morning and yesterday we had an undocumented foreigner whose name is, okay, I'm not going to mention the name. She actually has got a valid South African citizen ID card. Now, I ask you, when we asked her, where did you obtain that? Oh, I paid 3,000 Rand for it. How come? How come? So we need the Home Affairs to intervene as well, and we need the immigration to start working hand in hand with us so that we can deport these people, because there is an influx of undocumented foreigners and they are the ones who is creating big problems in South Africa. So the sooner the government intervene, the better for South Africans.
And you're calling to relevant departments, not just Home Affairs, relevant departments to also intervene?
All departments that needs to intervene now, before, it's too late.
Teresa, thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. That's Teresa from March and March. Iman, as we heard from that conversation, some of the demands that they are going to be making today. But as you can see, the march is actually starting now. As stated earlier on, they are going to be marching to the SA Human Rights Commission offices, which is a few minutes away from where we are. They are going to hand over a memorandum. At this point, it's not clear who is going to receive that memorandum, but we are told that there's a number of demands that they are going to be making this morning, Iman.
Silethiwe, just see if we can get a bigger picture there. As you say, the marchers are beginning to mobilize. Just show us what that looks like and what the volumes of people are that have showed up to lend their support to this one.
Certainly, Iman. So on my right, as my colleague Mdunge is going to show you, we do have visibility from the Metro Police. Of course, we have heard over the past few days, Iman, as you will remember, there's quite a few marches that have been taking place in the province. We have heard that, those marches should be peaceful and that the marches themselves should abide by the law. And that, of course, those that are engaging in those different marches should not be unruly in any way or extend their hand to anything else just besides engaging in the march itself. But the marches here, as you can see, Iman, quite ready to make their way to the SA Human Rights Commission offices. You are looking at supporters from the March and March organization, but also Operation Dudula, whom we have here in the province of KZN. Of course, lastly, Iman, as you heard, their biggest concern is undocumented immigrants that are accessing healthcare facilities. And if you look at some of the placards that they are carrying, one of them stating, "Put South Africans first," and the one right next to that one also saying illegal immigrants are a budget to our burden, I beg your pardon, to our economy. So those are some of the calls then that they will be making to the SA Human Rights Commission, which is where they are headed to right now.
Silethiwe, Ndlovu, thank you for the update.